Thank you so much for joining us. It's such a great opportunity. You will see on our screen, we have some amazing people that I'm going to be introducing to you throughout the next hour. And I just want to introduce myself right now. My name is Julie Dreisinger. I'm the program manager with the Business and Education Partnership of Waterloo Region. We're a local charity that helps young people in our community explore and experience careers. We want to acknowledge that we're broadcasting from the traditional territory of the Haudenosaunee, Anishinaabe, and Neutral people. We honor and respect the First Peoples of Canada and strive to learn from their example. The goal of today's event is to assist you with the next steps by educating you on the services, resources, and contacts available after graduating from the OYAP program. You will be receiving a follow-up email with the presentations attached and a list of contacts and useful websites. So take the time right now to just really listen and get your questions answered, so you don't have to worry so much about taking notes, because you will be getting a lot of the information sent to you in an email. For privacy, your video and audio will be remaining off, but you can type your questions through the Q&A feature located in the bar at the bottom of your screen. We will do our best to answer as many as possible with the time allowed. I would like to now introduce to you Nicole Sousa, Employment Specialist from Lutherwood Employment Services. I'll let you take it over, Nicole. Thank you.
Thanks, Julie. So as Julie mentioned, my name is Nicole, and I'm an employment specialist working with Lutherwood. So Lutherwood is a nonprofit organization, and what we do is we assist individuals with 3 different areas. So we have an employment sector, a housing sector, and we also have a mental health sector. But today I'm going to be talking to you about our employment, what our services look like, and what we offer. Okay. So what does Lutherwood do? So what we do in terms of employment is we want to know what you want to do. So what kind of work you're looking for. Is it that first job? Is it a second job? Are you looking for a career? And then getting those skills, looking at the skills you have, the soft skills, the transferable skills, and then really assisting you in marketing yourself to the employers to get the job and then keep the job. So the services that we offer are completely free. Whoops, hold on. Yeah, so our services are totally free because we're funded by the Ministry of Labor, Immigration Training and Skills Development. In each of our locations, we have 3 locations, one in Kitchener, one in Cambridge, and one in Guelph. We have resource centers available where our clients can come in, use computers for any job search or housing that they need. So they can print off resumes, work on a resume. There's also a resource advisor in all of our resource centers that can discuss further about what our services are. So we also have workshops, job fairs, and events. So our one-to-one support with a service team. So what that looks like is you would be working one-to-one, starting off with an employment advisor. So they're going to kind of help you explore career options, look at what types of jobs you're looking at finding. So things like career planning, goal setting, writing resumes, writing cover letters, providing you job interview tips and practice interviews, and then learning more about that hidden job market. So getting information about local employers, skilled trades, apprenticeships, and some of what those job placements look like. So meeting with that employment advisor is going to be based on their availability and yours. So typically when you come into service, we do something called an intake. So that's that first meeting where we're asking you a lot of questions. It takes between 45 minutes to an hour. And then to be eligible, I'll talk a little bit about that later, but our eligibility right now is anyone above the age of 18 who is looking for employment. Between the ages of 15 to 17, you would need a supervised alternative learning plan in order to participate. So as I mentioned, there's that employment service team. So as a part of the team, there would be someone who's an employment consultant, and they're going to help you with those those connections with employers. And then we have our Better Jobs Ontario which is a funded grant for training. It's a part of the ministry services. So you'd meet with an employment advisor, get help exploring career options and training options. And then they would assist you in determining if you're eligible and suitable for the program. So yeah, the one-on-one job search assistance, the employment advisor is really going to support you with resume and cover letters, identifying demand and skills trades, assisting you in really strong job search strategies, preparing for interviews, and then if needed, exploring education and training options. And then what the job search support from our employment consultants looks like is you would work together. So they work together with both employers and the job seekers to support hiring needs and client career goals. So where possible, they're connecting with job seekers, so you, with employment opportunities, really trying to match or align what the job seeker is looking for to what an employer is looking for, in terms of making sure that they're meeting what the candidates or what the employer is looking for in terms of candidates. So because employers do receive hundreds, if not thousands, of applications for job postings, they tend to wade through these resumes relatively quickly, and they can be really overwhelmed due to the responses. So because of that, as an employment consultant, what they're trying to do is make sure that you're getting in with the employer and they're seeing your resume versus wading through and maybe not picking it out. And so the employment consultant is really going to communicate. So checking with you, checking with the employers, making different connections, really facilitate job opportunities and accessing that hidden job market. So some of the areas of support, as I mentioned, an EC can help in the following areas of a job search. So providing current labor market information. So what kind of employers are out there, what their expectations are, a little bit about what are the higher labor markets. So what sectors are really looking to hire, what sectors are ramping up in hiring. So they become another pair of eyes and ears and looking for potential employment leads for you. So again, as I mentioned, accessing that hidden job market, seeing those jobs before they hit like Indeed or other job search engines. Networking on your behalf, connecting with colleagues within the organization, any employers that we currently have connections with or employers we have been connected with, and also looking at community contacts for potential leads within that hidden job market, providing current job postings that have come into our sites. So you'd get a lot of emails from the employment consultant saying, hey, there's a job lead, these are the jobs available, are you interested? And then it would facilitate an opportunity to apply. Strategizing on the best way to approach employers using different marketing tools. Apprentice employer signing bonuses. So we do assist in trying to find apprenticeship options as well. And we are working as a team, so we do work together. So it is the employment advisor working alongside the employment consultant or employment specialist to ensure that you're getting the full length of services. So a little bit about our eligibility. So it's our Employ Next program. And so as I mentioned, you have to be above the 18 years or older. If not, you need that supervised alternative learning plan, which is a plan that says that you're allowed to be excused from school to participate in the programs. So you must be a resident of Ontario, eligible to work in Canada, and sometimes there's additional criteria, and that typically gets assessed in that intake meeting. So to get connected, I have our website and then the number for our Kitchener and our Cambridge offices. So anyone that's interested, you're more than welcome to call one of those offices and just ask to speak with a resource advisor, and they'll give you a little bit more information. And again, just the numbers for our sites. And that is the end of my presentation. So if anyone has any questions, please let me know.
Thank you so much, Nicole. I don't know if we have any questions. Let's Nothing's come up in our chat, or I'm sorry, in the Q&A at this point, but I just want to thank you for providing that information and the insight that you have shared. I hope students that are on and any that get the information will definitely use your resources and check you out for sure. I think it's something that's why we do this, because I don't think a lot of people are aware of the services that you provide. So thank you for your time and for being part of today. So oh, someone asked, can you put your website link in the chat?
I sure can.
And we will provide that too. So
there we go. It is in the chat for anyone that wants to access it.
great. All right. I don't think any questions at all. We will have an opportunity at the end if you have any questions for Nicole. We'll maybe keep moving and then we'll have more time at the end to be able to ask any questions that might come up during that time. So, all right. Thanks again, Nicole. It's now my pleasure to introduce from Support Ontario Youth, SOY, Linda Alati, Program Director with Construction Trades. Linda, thank you for coming on, and I'll hand it over to you and let you do your presentation. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So I'm just going to take a moment to share my screen. Awesome, I went straight to the proper view. Glad we did this earlier. Well, hello everyone. Welcome to this afternoon's event. I'm here to review with you what the SOY Advantage is and tell you how SOY supports high school students interested in the apprenticeship pathway. Okay, there we go. I just want to tell you what would be coming up in my introduction. I'm going to be reviewing with you what is apprenticeship, the apprenticeship pathway, how to get started in high school, which a lot of you have already done, so I'll probably go through that a little quicker. What happens after high school? How do you transition out of OYAP into mainstream apprenticeship? And how can SOY help you once you're in mainstream apprenticeship, and also the funding opportunities available to you as an apprentice? So just want to introduce myself. I'm Linda Alati, Program Manager for in construction trades, but more specifically, I focus in on electrical. So that is my role. SOY has a number of program managers. And as we grow as a not-for-profit organization, we will be probably hiring more. Right now, we are a group sponsor for 12 different trades. And electrical is the one that I oversee. So our goal at SOY is to share with you resources and supports for your apprenticeship education after OYAP. So as a group sponsor, we streamline, support apprentices and their employers, and we mentor apprentices. So I will spend this time providing you with the key takeaways that we will that we know will be beneficial to you as you navigate the apprenticeship journey. So what is apprenticeship? Well, we know that there are 3 educational pathways post-secondary, okay? So there's the college pathway, the university pathway, and the one that we're most excited about at SOY is the skilled trades pathway. And that is the only post-secondary pathway that requires you to be hired first, to have a job, to begin your education. So what is an apprentice? Apprentice is a high school graduate, okay? An apprentice through OYAP can also be a high school student, but I'm focusing right now on after high school. An apprentice is a student. So you will be a student learning hands-on in the workplace from a journey person, but you'll also be a student in a college. Depending on your trade, you may have to do 2-month blocks, at least 2 to 4 times during your apprenticeship. So you are doing in-school learning as well for about 15% of your apprenticeship. An apprentice is an employee that reaps the benefits of what an employer has to offer other than being an income earner. You can get benefits, you can get paid time vacation, you might even get to drive the company truck eventually. Okay, and most importantly, what we all like is that an apprentice is an income earner from the first day they set foot in on the job and the first day that they begin their apprenticeship education. So, as I mentioned, apprenticeship, you earn while you learn. The nice thing about apprenticeship is that most apprenticeships range between 1 and 5 years in terms of how long it takes to complete the apprenticeship. Now, what I'm showing you here is just the average income potential for apprentices. And as you can see at the bottom of the chart on the left-hand side, after 4 years of being an apprentice, and this is an average income, you may be earning anywhere between $241,000 to $286,000, maybe a little less, or also the opportunity to earn even more than that. Remember, this is just an average. On the opposite end, when you're in a college or university program, you have to pay to go to school. We all know that. And oftentimes, students have to incur debt at the end of the 4 years of that education. This is an average because it could be lower or it could be higher. The average is about $36,000 in debt. So this is why we're kind of excited about the apprenticeship pathway. You get started a lot sooner. So how do you get started while in high school in apprenticeship? Okay, so all of you are OYAP students. So that is the best way to get started in high school because you get the support of a teacher, you're making connections, you're starting to network at your co-op placement, you're gaining skills, and you're also gaining hours and competencies towards your future career. Or it's an opportunity for you to just explore to see what you're interested in before you make that commitment to a full-on apprenticeship. But the other way of entering apprenticeship while you're in high school is through summer or part-time jobs. We have definitely had students who worked part-time over the summer or full-time over the summer or part-time on evenings or weekends who've been able to secure an apprenticeship that way. And then once they complete high school, they can continue on full-time with full-time hours. Okay, so even outside of OYAP, that is possible, depending on, but the best way to get started in high school, I would say, is through the OYAP program. Remember, to do OYAP, you have to take co-op. I'm just going to spend a little bit of time reviewing the apprenticeship pathway. A lot of you may have seen this already. This is the OYAP chart that identifies the 4 sectors of apprenticeship in Ontario, and within it all the skilled trades. And there are about 144 skilled trades in Ontario. The great thing about this chart, and many of you might have it or ask your co-op teacher if you don't, is it identifies all the trades within each sector. It identifies which ones are red seal trades, and that you can see is the little red maple leaf. And then we have the green triangles, and those green triangles identify which trades are compulsory trades. And that means you have to be licensed in that trade, meaning you have to do a complete apprenticeship in order to legally work in that trade. As you can see, there are a lot of them in the automotive power sector, right? We want to make sure people are licensed when they're working on the brakes of our cars, right? So great chart to have. Reach out to your co-op teacher if you don't have one, and you may see posters of this also in your schools. Okay, I just want to review a little bit about the trade sector requirements for each sector. Okay, the construction sector, and like I said, many jobs in the construction sector, there are basically there are compulsory and non-compulsory trades. Again, compulsory trades means you need to be licensed, but non-compulsory means that you don't necessarily have to do the apprenticeship. However, most employers like that you have the credentials behind you, the education behind you, and also you want to probably do the apprenticeship anyway, because then that way you may be able to earn more money. So even if it's a non-compulsory trade, it's always a good idea to get your credentials. That means go through the schooling and end up with your certificate of qualification. The thing about the construction sector, you only need to have grade 10 education for most of those trades, and it's hours based. Okay. And all our sectors have red seal trades associated with them. Some of our sectors, like the industrial sector and the motive power sector, and a lot of the stuff within the service sector, you need to have a grade 12 diploma. And even though you may not need a grade 12 diploma in the construction sector, I'd be hard pressed to find many employers who would hire an electrician without their grade 12 diploma. So it's always a good thing to get your to graduate from high school before entering an apprenticeship. In addition to that, in the construction sector, if you do get your grade 12 diploma, you get 500 hours because you graduated from high school just by doing that. So you're starting a little bit ahead in your hours. Okay, so again, please research before you begin any trade. Please research your trades. Go on to Skilled Trades Ontario. They have a lot of information there. Also OYAP.com. Research your trade. Make sure you know what is required to get into that trade. Okay, and also take OYAP, because that'll give you a good idea of what is involved as well. Okay, so the apprenticeship pathway has three main components. You are developing skills, or we like to say competencies. So things mastered while you while you're working in the trade. You are also accruing hours. So all the hours that you've worked are very important as well, in particular in the construction sector. Another main component of apprenticeship is the in-class learning. Like I mentioned earlier, you're going to be in school anywhere from 2 to 4 times, and each block could be anywhere from 6 to 8 weeks. So the in-class learning may only be 15% of your whole apprenticeship pathway, but it's an important component, and you have to pass each level in order to go on to the next level. And you need to obviously complete all your leveled schooling so that you can write the CFQ exam at the end and be a licensed tradesperson. Okay, so this is just a little flow chart to give you an idea of the apprenticeship pathway. And again, you're going to be getting this presentation. So if some of this is just a little too much right now, just know you'll get to see this. And there's some notes at the bottom to help you navigate the slide. So like I mentioned earlier, the first thing you do is you get hired. Okay, so that's how you start your apprenticeship pathway or your apprenticeship education. You get hired. If you're in OYAP and you are graduating from high school and you get to continue on with the placement that you're at, fantastic. If you're not, then you have some and you've been in OYAP, but your employer can't take you on at that time. At least you have your hours and the competencies you've developed, and you can have a better opportunity to get another employer to take you on. So they hire you. Once they know that you are a good fit, then they will sponsor you, or in other words, they register you with the province of Ontario to be an apprentice. Okay, and like any of those compulsory trades, you have to be an apprentice in order to work legally during that trade, or a CFQ. Okay, so when you start your first year as apprentice, you're getting paid, as I showed you in that particular chart. With the wage earnings, as you learn, you add more value to your employer, and you prove your skills, and your earning potential will increase with every year you are an apprentice. Okay, most trades are anywhere between 3 and 5 years. Many are 5 years long. Okay, and like I mentioned earlier, there are other benefits like paid vacation time, even pensions. Okay, especially in unions. So that's all part of, the importance of getting hired and working from the beginning throughout your apprenticeship pathway. So as a first-year apprentice, you will work on hands-on tools. You'll get involved. You'll be developing your hours and your competencies. But at some point, you will be notified by the ministry to go to school, to go to a trade school. And that's called level schooling. Because remember, 15%, at least 15% of your apprenticeship pathway is in-class learning. When it's time to go to school, you will also be able to collect employment insurance. Okay. And once you're done the level schooling, it's usually, like I said, anywhere between 6 and 8 weeks. You will have to pass the courses within that 2-month period, and then you go back to work. Okay. While you're in trade school, you also earn hours while you're in trade school. So you're not, so it's not a negative thing to go. You're still accruing hours. Go back to work. Eventually, you'll get offered level 2. Okay. Once you've completed level 2 successfully, then you go back to work. You continue to work, build your skills, build your competencies, and gain more hours. You do your level 3. And Support Ontario Youth is a not-for-profit organization. We support employers and apprentices navigate the apprenticeship pathway. We take that administrative burden off of employers so they can focus on the training and their business. And we work with the ministry and support apprentices get through the apprenticeship pathway with the level schooling and everything else. We provide them with technical mentors. So if you are an apprentice, I don't know, did you see the part where I was talking to you about our technical mentors? I'm not sure. But we have technical mentors. They provide assistance to our apprentices on an as-needs basis. They help with tutoring. They help with advice along the apprenticeship journey. They help with the CFQ exam. They're there to also provide some education and are with us at different events. So that's one of the supports that we provide. We also provide some piloting a tutoring program for those that are in level 1 to make sure that our apprentices that are part of SOI are successful. We also have a CFQ support person or a couple of mentors that work specifically to help guide our apprentices who are preparing to write the certificate of qualification. In addition, we have boot camps. Those boot camps are offered from time to time, and what they provide are not our apprentices, but individuals who are looking to bridge that gap between the skills that they have and what employers want. Is an opportunity for them to get some hands-on training in a day. It's not a lot, but it's an opportunity to get $250 worth of tools, and then network with employers in a particular trades area or sector. So those are great. You can look up upcoming boot camps on our website. They may be fewer offered at this time as our funding rolls over in early spring, and more boot camps may be offered at that time. So I do encourage students who have graduated to take part in those boot camps if they are in your area. They run all across Ontario. They would run in your area as well. How do you become a SOI apprentice? Well, you need to work with a SOI employer. So you don't necessarily apply to SOI. We do have job postings sometimes because our employers will come to us and say, I need a level 2 apprentice, a level 1 apprentice in electrical, in HVAC, in machining, in sheet metal, in automotive. And we will post those on Indeed, and you can apply through that. So you don't apply directly to us. You would apply through Indeed. You will look for the Support Ontario Youth. You can put that in the search engine, and it would help. It will pop up which opportunities are available for apprentices. And then we would take your resume. That's why I don't know if you heard me say that resume is really important after co-op to make sure that you update it and that you put in your placement experience, all the certifications in health and safety training that you've done, any experience that you've had especially even if you did volunteer experience in addition to co-op that might be related to the field or even unrelated, anything that shows that you like to do the type of work that you're applying for. So once we get your resumes through Indeed, then we send them off to our employers and they make a decision of whether they will connect with you. Once you get hired by a soy employer, all the benefits that I discussed plus more would be available to you. We act as a group sponsor and we support well over 300 apprentices at this time. Oh, pardon me, over 500 apprentices with over 300 businesses. So I don't know if that's a bit of information about soy in a nutshell.
So I'd like to introduce Nicole from the Waterloo Region District School Board and Leonard Bumbacco from the Waterloo Catholic District School Board. So we'll let them get started.
Thank you, Julie. Lenny, would you like to go first or would you like me to go first?
I can go first. Not just kind of continue kind of where our previous host kind of left off, maybe try to fill in little gaps there. My name is Mr. Bumbacco. I'm the OYAP recruiter for Waterloo Catholic District School Board. Just to add some context to where you are probably in your OYAP career right now. It's probably coming to an end unless some of you are taking co-op second semester, but we put this event together for you so that you can have an idea of what to do next, right? Like where do we fit in or where do you fit in? And you have some options out there, right? So if you have an employer that's signing you on and you're working, that's great, and you can continue to do that. If you've graduated and everything is great, or you can tap into a wonderful resource, Support Ontario Youth. Is that resource is a great resource for you. Like they mentioned earlier, they are a group sponsor for 12 trades. And they do have an application process. So hopefully, I don't want to speak too much about that, but I know their application process is there. And they will, you apply to them, they'll support you on your apprenticeship journey. And my understanding is they have connections to a lot of employers. So if you're in a situation right now where you don't have an employer, OYAP was fantastic, your co-op placement was fantastic, and you know what, they're not taking me on, I don't have any work, I'm graduating, what do I do now? If you contact Support Ontario Youth, they will continue and they will carry you on your apprenticeship journey. Hopefully make a connection with you to an employer. And then that's once you get sponsored, and Support Ontario Youth will be the initial sponsor. You'll go through a little bit of their training ahead of time and some filtering through different testing that they have, I believe. And then from there, you'll get signed, you'll get placed with an employer. And they'll take you through the process of, getting your hours, getting your book credit given out to your logbook, and get you into hopefully the queue for schooling so that you can do your schooling and your on-hands training with an employer that's been vetted and it's been connected to Support Ontario Youth. And that's really where that lives. Like, I don't want anyone out there to feel like you're going out and you don't have any support at all. What do I do? How do I get connected to an employer? It is one of the toughest things to actually go out and get connected to an employer. Pounding the pavement, putting out resumes, using Lutherwood or Cambridge Connections or other type of Employment Ontario services can be daunting. So we brought Support Ontario Youth here to help you get connected to make that process easier, because they've kind of done a lot of the legwork for you, and hopefully you can tap into that resource to continue forward. So I think that's where I leave it off. Dave, you can take it from there if I feel anything that I may have missed.
Sure. So as you're kind of finishing up in high school, there's a couple of things that you want to make sure that, or some steps you want to take before graduation. So first of all, at the end of your co-op placement, you should be talking to your co-op teacher to make sure you get a certificate or a letter, depending on which one they're giving you, that will kind of list how many hours you had in your co-op placement, and it will talk about what trade that you were in and things of that nature. If your co-op placement went really well, I'd highly recommend seeing if they will give you a reference letter, or even best case scenarios, if you're graduating and checking with them to see if they're willing or able to hire you as an apprentice when you graduate. So just starting that conversation. So it's a small industry, it's a small community, I should say, where a lot of them talk to each other. So even if they can't hire right now, they're not able to because they just aren't hiring at the time, they may have another competitor or somebody else that they know in that industry that is hiring. So they may recommend you to somebody else. So having that conversation with an employer that you're currently connected with is really important to see what's available out there for you. Another thing, kind of unrelated but also related, is when you leave high school, you lose access to your school account. So that's your email and all of your files and everything that is within your school account. Make absolutely sure before graduation, if you wait till the day after you graduate, you potentially lose all of that data. So back up all of your stuff and make sure you have a copy of that before you graduate. So maybe it's the week before, you know, you're leaving high school during exams or something. Take that time, back up, whether it's Google or Microsoft, back up your account and make sure you have copies of all that stuff. The most important stuff for your career is making sure you have copies of your co-op documents. So your logs, your hours, all that sort of stuff. When you go to pursue an apprenticeship in the future, having that OYAP certificate or letter, having proof of the work and things that you have done throughout your co-op placement may earn you some hours towards your apprenticeship if you were part of the OYAP program. If you were signed as an OYAP apprentice during your co-op placement, I did also put in the chat, there is an OYAP Live the Skilled Life link in there that also kind of highlights some of those steps after graduation. Super important things, like if you've already signed a training agreement and you're now graduating, if you're continuing in that apprenticeship with that employer, you want to make sure that you are using your personal email address and that you have to show the Ministry of Labor your proof of graduation if you're continuing into an apprenticeship. So there's a couple little steps. It's outlined in that Live the Skilled Life link that's there. I'm also just putting in the chat right now some other links too. So there is the Ontario Skilled Trade Ontario site that has lots of information about apprenticeships. There is also Ontario and Canadian grants available towards new apprentices. So some apply to some people and not to others, and there's a lot of variety. So taking some time to go through those grants, there's lots of grants available for those trying to pursue the apprenticeship pathway. Those are all the things I can think of. Oh, I will mention that there is multiple pathways after high school. So colleges do a fantastic job trying to promote that you have to go to college to pursue an apprenticeship. And that's not necessarily true. College is part of your apprenticeship pathway, or can be. There's lots of non-college training delivery agents that will do the level 1 and level 2, etc. But so the most common pathways are college. So some people choose to go to college and get a college diploma or college certificate to get more practice if they maybe didn't do co-op or they don't have any experience and they want more before they commit. But as mentioned before, is that costs money. Or there's trade unions and group sponsors. So Support Ontario Youth is a good example of a group sponsor. And then there's multiple trade unions in each region as well. Or there's direct to work. So the most common pathway into the skilled trades is if you already have an industry connection, like I said, talk to your existing employer. Or if you don't have any current connection, again, you can talk to Lutherwood or any other employment services to help you make connections. Or again, just being proactive, marketing yourself, going to companies in your local area that are offering the trades that you're interested in, and handing out a resume, meeting them, talking to them, self-marketing, and seeing if they're willing to sign you and hire you as an apprentice. So again, college is an option, trade union or group sponsor, or direct to work, with direct to work being the most common pathway. So just spending some time trying to think about where you want to work, the type of work you want to do, who offers that apprenticeships in your region or in the area that you want to work in, and just taking some time to try and figure that out. I do want to mention that, again, before leaving high school now's the time to do a lot of that research. So you have access to things like Edge Factor. So if you haven't used it, both Waterloo Catholic and Waterloo Public have access to Edge Factor. They have thousands of videos related to skilled trades where they've interviewed different workers in many different trades. There's also My Blueprint, which has many quizzes and many other tools available to you to help you figure out exactly what trade and what sector you want to work in. So that you lose access to a lot of these tools when you graduate. You lose access to maybe your guidance counselor and tech teachers and co-op teachers. So spend some time while you're still in high school connecting with these people and trying to, use the resources that are available to you before you graduate, when you feel like you're on your own and you don't have any supports. So I think I have covered everything on my list that I wanted to say. And
Yeah,
unless Mr. Bumbacco has anything else.
Really quick, my blueprint you have access to. I know in our board you have it for life. So they say. So scan your certificates, SHSM certificates, your OYAP letter, your OYAP certificate, any type of tracking you have for the work you've done in OYAP. Track it, scan it, use it. There's a nice little portfolio archival piece to that software. So hold on to it, use it, and archive it, because it will come in handy. It's really, really important when the time comes by, when you eventually do get signed up as a sponsor on a case-by-case basis. This information will be sent in to the ministry, and then, like I said, they will honor some of those hours, most of them, all of them. It's really up to them how they look at it, but it's proof of the work you've done and the hours that you need to submit. So that's the part I would like to say, and I can't stress more. David, Mr. Pope hit a nail on the head there. Network. If you're going to go to college and that's a great route that fits you, or you're going to go direct to work, eventually you will need to have an employer and a sponsor, and they need to sponsor you. So network, talk to your current employer. You got a couple weeks left in co-op. See if they have connections to another employer. Like I said, the Journey Persons are a small knit group. They know companies and they want to support training students in a field, skilled trades field that is highly understaffed and in need of workers. So whoever you can talk to, and the more work that you can get exposed to, the more connections you can make with managers and with other workers at different places of work is a benefit to you. So start your Rolodex, keep it going, and write those things down, because they will come in handy. And needless to say, apprentices don't normally start and end with the same employer. There is a lot of transient. It is a transient nature. So life does get in the way. People move, people get married, companies close, companies have a downturn. So for a variety of reasons, people will move jobs, employers, and that's fair and that's fine. But just so keep a track record of everything you have and all the work that you do. Okay, so it's very important. Okay, and I think you hit everything here. Some of the programs at college are paid for, so that would be your diploma and your certificate programs. There are some that are government paid for, so they're free. Pre-apprenticeship programs, you can look at those as well. I'll put a link in the chat of the Trades and Apprenticeship Office at Conestoga College in the program section. They have a list of all of their programs there, and you can go through that if that is an option for you as well. So I'd like to thank you for coming. This is great. And if you have any questions, please throw them in the chat. David?
Yep, that is all I had. I think we covered everything. Just make sure so the links will be emailed after, but there's a bunch of links in the chat if you want to copy them and put them into a document, or check them out later after the event. And Julie, will pass it back to you.
I think unfortunately some of those links were only showing for the hosts and panelists. You had to click it from everyone. So I will make sure I have saved the chat, so I will make sure those links all get sent to you. So no worries.
I reposted all of them into the everyone on purpose. So
good. Thank you so much.
I had a drop-down menu for hosts and panelists. It's the only option I had. Sorry.
Yeah, well, it's funny because I changed it to everyone, but all of a sudden it went to hosts and panelists. I apologize. I see that. And Linda, I think you were just finished your slide or working on the slide where you had your path once you were hired, or once you got like it was all the steps. I feel like that was the slide when it went off. Do you guys agree with me on that?
I think so.
Yeah.
I think that's where it was.
I was trying to figure out if it was my connection that went down at first or what, but I know, Linda, you were freezing, but let's want to come back on, Linda, and try and finish that. We do have time yet. It's only quarter after.
I'm sorry, I didn't even realize that I lost connection, because of course I'm just looking at my screen.
I know, and you're talking away and no one was
I
hearing.
finished it, and I said any questions and no one was there. So, I don't know
Yeah.
what to tell you. I don't even know where I left off.
Linda, would you be able to share with the group services that Sport Ontario Youth could offer our students going out? What a process would be to apply? Any of that vetting
Okay.
process for them?
So-
Some of them might be a little bit lost.
Yeah, I apologize that my camera is not on right now, but my video all of a sudden is not working. Don't know what's going on. Technology is wonderful when it works, but when it doesn't, oh dear. Okay, so
Exactly.
basically, that's
At
right.
this point, I just want to say, I'm going to get all the presenters to come back on. Linda, I know your camera's not working, but David and Leonard and Nicole. And I just want to thank you all for being part of tonight's event. Even though we've had a few technical glitches, hopefully it was still worthwhile. I think it was. There was a lot of information shared. And like we said, we will make sure, especially the people who have taken the time to join tonight, that we will pass that information to you. And we're just so thrilled at the BEP here to partner with these great organizations to provide students with this opportunity. Attendees, like I said, will receive a follow-up email, and also the OYAP coordinators will. Congratulations to all of the students for your graduation from the OYAP program. Thank you for participating, and I just wish you all the best in your future career. I think we'll close the night off, and I wish you all a wonderful evening. And thanks again to our wonderful presenters and to all a few students that did come on. I really do appreciate your participation tonight. Take care.
Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. Have a wonderful night.
Yes,
Yeah.
thank you, everyone.
Thanks. Have a good evening, everyone.
Yeah. Good night.